Jordan, welcome to Halloween Daily. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. We're talking about Salem's Lot here today, and I just watched it for the first time last night, and I really love this movie. I mean, I love vampire movies in general. I've seen the previous adaptations and read the Stephen King novel, and as somebody who's a big fan, I really like this new interpretation. So, and your performance especially, job well done, man.
So thank you. Thank you.
Now, this story, as we said, it's based on a classic Stephen King novel. When you got this role of Mark Petrie, were you familiar at all with the novel, and did you read it or watch either of the previous adaptations prior to filming, or have you consumed any of that since?
During the auditioning for Mark Petrie, I read the entire original novel of Salem's Lot. Then I also too watched the miniseries after I got the role, and then I watched the original Salem's Lot, and then the return to Salem's Lot. I didn't quite finish the Return to Salem's Lot, but I think the other ones are more than good enough for this role.
Yes, it sounds like you did do your research. Absolutely. Now, again, I mean, people that are familiar with this story and the book or the previous films, Mark Petrie is very much a central character in this whole story, and really kind of the hero character in a lot of ways. He's one of the first to the first to be telling everybody, "Hey, vampires are taking over the town," and what excited you the most to be playing this particular role in this project?
Um, so, um, Really, the main things that made me want to play this role really was that, Mark was such an iconic character, like you said, and he has so much to do, and he's such a central part of the book. But also too, because, Mr. Dauberman was directing it, and he's directed and, written and co-written, some of my favorite scary movies before. Just to see, his name on it, and then to also see that, it was a Stephen King original, that was just it was a dream come true for me because I didn't even expect to even be, you know, even offered it. So when I saw it, I was just like, I have to get this. I have to.
Yeah, I love Gary Dauberman's work as well. He's directed, like you said, a lot of our favorites as well, and I think totally delivers with this. And this vampire, the central vampire in the story, of course, is Barlow, and he is one of the most famous fictional vampires ever in just in fiction, whether you're talking about literature or film, and just vampire lore. And you, as Mark, you get to have some scenes with Barlow and have some pretty up close scenes with this terrifying vampire. Can you talk to us a little bit about what that was like filming with Barlow?
Yeah, so filming with Barlow, the first time I saw him, I was it was almost like I was in an out of body experience because he looks so different from every other vampire. Every other vampire, they just have the normal teeth or maybe just the veins, but him, it's like a full blown complete difference. When the first time I saw him, I was terrified, and I was like, is that really who I think it is? And at first, like I said, I was really scared. But when we started to film, I realized, oh, okay, we're fine. We're just we're just working on the film. We're here to have fun. So it was really cool working with him. I did so many scenes with him, and especially the ending scene was definitely one that was very noticeable. Um, I meant very notable,
Mhm.
and that was really cool. So I mean, if I really have a chance to work with the actor who played Barlow, I would definitely love to again.
Yeah, I thought he was really great as well. Now, one of Mark's best strengths, I think, and kind of best weapons against Barlow in this whole story is his knowledge going into it already, kind of vampires and vampire mythology through the comic books and movies and stuff. He's kind of a fan of this stuff already, which proves very useful in this story. So I was curious with you in real life, and you mentioned how Harlow is very different from other vampires, and that makes him cool. Are you a fan of vampires and vampire movies and just vampire mythology in general?
I'm a big fan. I love vampires. I watched the original Dracula, and I'm actually currently watching Castlevania. I was trying to get through that because as soon as I saw Dracula was in it, I was like, whoa, this is definitely something I definitely want to watch. And I heard that there was some Castlevania video games that I was originally planning to play. So I'm definitely a big fan of horror movies, definitely a big fan of, vampire flicks and really just any horror movie. I really just would love to see because, honestly, if I got, a quarter for every single movie that I've watched that was a horror movie, I'd probably be, rich by now.
So it sounds like you are a horror fan. That was going to be my next question, larger than just vampires, just horror in general. And you definitely sound like you are a horror fan. Do you have like a top two or three go-to horror movies? I mean, everybody's going to be watching this during Halloween season this October, as we're speaking. Do you have like some go-to scary movies that you like to watch around October, or
Let me
just
see.
anytime?
Actually, yeah, I have actually a couple. So I like the, original, Annabelle series that, Mr. Doberman directed and wrote. Specifically Annabelle Creation, I always watch that one around this time. And then two, I just go back to the classics, Scream, Halloween, Chucky, Friday the 13th, all the movies like that. So, really I'm just more of a classic type of person, that you can never beat that stuff.
Absolutely, I agree for sure. And again, like we say, as we're talking about this, it's release day now. Salem's Lot. It's streaming on Max, and everybody's going to be watching it during their Halloween season this month as we're recording this in October. And every day's Halloween for us, as you can see. So if you'll indulge us for our last couple minutes with you, what's Halloween, the holiday, mean to you? Do you celebrate and do you look forward to it like we do? Do you have any plans for this year yet?
Yeah, even though I don't trick or treat anymore, I still try to do a lot of things that are Halloween, orientated. So, this year I'm going to be going to a corn maze, hopefully
Nice.
with some of my friends, and we're just gonna have a really fun time. We're gonna be going pumpkin patching as well. Like stuff like that. Every single year I try to make Halloween you know, a lot more special than every other holiday. I love Christmas, and no offense to Christmas, but Halloween is just I don't know, it's something about it. Yeah.
Well, obviously we're a little biased, but we agree too. There's something about it that it's even more magical than Christmas for us. Um, and then we always, whenever we get a chance, we try to ask, what is your favorite Halloween costume that you've ever worn? And also, it's a two-parter, your favorite Halloween candy or treat.
So for my favorite Halloween costume that I've ever worn, probably gonna have to give it a Scream because that one was, it's just such an easy costume. Even if you don't get it from a store, I feel like it's kind of better if you just make it yourself, and it's really easy to make. So I actually made my own Scream costume. I think yeah, three years ago, and I'm so glad I did because it was it really looked like the one straight off of the big screen. And for my favorite Halloween treat, um, I gotta go with Reese's Pieces. You can't beat those candies. They're just so good. And also too, whenever I would, watch a horror movie during around this time,
Mhm.
especially on Halloween, I would always kind of have all my trick-or-treating candy and I would put it with the popcorn as well. And it was so good, so good.
Yeah, something about that mix of the popcorn and the chocolate and the treats and yeah, magic on Halloween night for sure. And I love the making your own costume, the aspect of actually putting the work in and making it yourself too. That's extra bonus points for that. I like that. Well, again, Jordan, I know you're very busy today, and I totally appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. Salem's Lot, again, as we're talking, it is out now. It's streaming on Max. I know all of our audience is definitely going to be checking it out as they're celebrating Halloween this season, and I think it's a perfect watch for Halloween. I mean, it literally takes place during the fall season. I mean, there's a lot of fall atmosphere in it, and of course, it's a classic vampire story, and so I know everybody's going to enjoy it. So thank you again for hanging out and talking to us today. And of course, we just want to wish you a very, very happy Halloween.
Thank you. You too.